Hello everyone. Uh, this is another quick video. It's probably going to be 5-6 minutes, so it'll be just very quick. What I want to cover is I want to cover how does RDS tool collect IOPS. I often get a question is how do you collect the IOPS? What method do you use and how accurate it is, right? IOPS and throughputs collection has to be very accurate because we obviously use that for right sizing. Right sizing in now the SQL Server consists of CPUs, memories, IOPS, and throughputs. And we often find out that IOPS and throughputs is over the limit per the instance, so we had to sometimes scale up to just match those IOPS and throughputs. So accurate collection of those two metrics is very, very important. And that's what this video is all about, is I want to show how this gets collected. I often say in my previous videos or my presentations that I collect the IOPS and throughputs from within the SQL Server. I don't use the process monitor for simple reason is the process monitor capture the drive. So you are collecting from within the drive itself, so you can capture extra noises. So wherever it touch the drive is going to go against your IOPS and throughputs, right? And not to mention the RAID controller, the setup of your RAID and how it's set up is a RAID 5, 1 plus use, and you get the parities and the extra penalties that for each insert, right? And each write it has to create that parity for the RAID 5 or RAID 1 plus zeros or 1 or whatever it is the RAID that you're using. So what I do, I use what's called the virtual file stat, and it's collected from the file itself, the physical file of the database. In here, I have a script. It's a standalone script. All what it does is it just collects IOPS and throughputs and through an agent job. And this will be, I will add this into our GitHub, and you guys are free to take it, use it, just in case you want to collect IOPS and throughputs for your databases, right? Some of the parameters that you need on top is this has to run on the context of the database that you want to insert to create the tables or use it to collect the IOPS or store the IOPS collected. It could be MSDB or it could be any other database. If you choose to use any other database other than the MSDB, just pay attention to those IOPS and throughputs because there will be inserts going to those tables and those will be part of those IOPS on this database. You need as well, you need the login. It could be SQL, SA or any other admin login, a collection point. Right now I'm having 5 collection point, which is 5 minutes, going on for 5 minutes. It's going to create the SQL IO collection, which is related to the status of the agent job to keep, just how long it runs and all that. It's going to create another DBIO total. DBIO total is the running total of the IOPS. And this is needed because of the virtual file stat will give you the snapshots of the last time. Every time you select it, it's going to give you a snapshot of the latest. So it's a cumulative. A way for us or for me to just determine the IOPS is I have to read 2 collection points and get the delta. So that's why I need 2 tables, the DBIO total for the total and the DBIO for the delta per collection time. So for this to work, we have to run this over 1 minute. So you cannot run it for 1 minute, you don't get any data. You have to run it for 2 minutes and more to get it accurate data because of the delta. And as I said, it will use the virtual file stat and it's going to run it against all the databases except master, model, MSDB, distribution, report server, and report server TempDB. If you choose to run it on a, for example, admin database, you can just add that admin database into exception list here and it won't be collected. So the script will start by dropping the tables of exists and will recreate them, right? Something else I have is, as part of my testing, is I have a database called admin, and in that database I have one table called tiny collectible column table. I try to, make it as simple as it is. I don't want to have multiple tables, just one table with one column and one insert. That table has tiny column bit, right? And what I'm using to really be able to determine whether what I'm collecting through my tool is accurate or not, I'm using something called process monitor. This process monitor comes as part of the sysinternal suite. It's a free downloadable from Microsoft and it has all different collections, all different files that you can use, right? As you see here, that's the system terminal suites, and it's all in here. But I'm using the process monitor, this one here, 64-bit. How do you set up this? Make sure you want to filter it, right? By default, doesn't come filtered, and you're going to capture everything. So what I want to do is then filter for the process name of SQL Server. You drop down the list here. You go to process name, and you put the value as SQL Server, SQL SERVR. Pay attention to the name, not SERVER, SERVR. And I want to only look at my database, the admin, which is the physical name. It sits on E drive. The physical name is DB64K and DB64K MDF and LDF, as it's showing here on E drive. 64K and 64K log. That is my admin database. Let's just double check. File sits on E drive and the name 64 and 64. I want to make sure my table is empty as well, so there's no data in that table. All right. Well, delete everything in here. I am going to go ahead and start the collection. So as I said, it's going to run for 5 minutes. It's going to create table into MSDB right here. Collection status, DBIO, DBIO total. Fine. This is showing it empty. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the very first collection point before I do any inserts into my admin database, right? So let me check here. All right. View history. Okay, the very first one is run. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to do some inserts into the table. This little script, what it does is it's just going to insert into that table one column, it's one column, 5 times. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The process monitor is showing that there is 5 IOPS that went against that file, the LDF file. Now let's look at what gets collected through the DBIO. So now it's going to show in the DBIO, it has to show 5. If it shows less or more, then there's something that is not accurate. So let's just wait for the second collection point. Not yet. So as you see here, only 5, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you do not want to incur those extra read or write that's happening on this DBIO total or DBIO, just put it in a different database. All right. So here's the second collection point, and it's showing 5 records. So 5 IOPS, not 5 records, 5 IOPS that went against my admin database. This is the total throughputs, right? 5 and total throughputs. You get the write and read, right? The both write and read, the byte write and byte written, does give us the throughputs. And if you look at the total here, if you look at this size, right? 25605, if you add those all up, let's do that. 2560 plus 512 plus 512 plus 512 plus 512. That's 4,608. 4,608. This is the throughput and this is the IOPS. So the process monitor is showing exactly what the Rdstools collects, right? And obviously I'm just gonna, I run it for 5, but if I want to, I can run it for more. If I go and say, okay, you know what? Do 1,000 here. That's 1,000. Let's wait and see what it's gonna give me. It's the third one, which is zeros, which is accepted. There's nothing ran against that database. And here I'm filtering for admin only. So it's a 0. Now the fourth one should be showing us more. That's the folder. But we didn't look at this, so let's look at this, right? How many we have here? See that? All that. Pay attention to the length, right? We're gonna talk. There's the second video is gonna come after that. Is we're gonna talk about the cluster size. There's a lot of myth about the 64K cluster online, cluster online, all that. We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about how this works because of the difference between the way EBS works and the actual drive works, all that. So I will have another video that we're gonna capture all that, and we're gonna show you what that means. All right, here we are. So we did a read and written with 1001, right? So what we did here, if you look at the total, we've got a 5 and 1001, right? Showing 1006. So a total of written IOPS is 1006 between the process IOPS and between the RDS tools, right? And obviously the addition of those two will be the throughputs, right? So that's the end of this video. Hopefully this was helpful. We'll upload this into the GitHub soon, which you guys are welcome to see it. And if you guys have any comments, any questions, please reach out and let me know. I would love to hear from you if you want to test it. And if you test showing different result than mine, please reach out and let me know. You can reach me out on my contacts on my website, the www.rdstools.info. As I said, we're going to be talking the next videos, which is going to be coming soon, about the cluster size, the 64K, and whether 64K is what gets created when you do an insert or not, and what's the difference between EBS and all that, and whether that makes a difference, right? So we'll talk about that. I don't want to take much time and talk about this. We'll just cover that into details into the next videos. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on another video.